This stirred my memory real quick. I got to bitch real quick. So I was driving back from Youngstown to Columbus, and I had to YouTube TV some games as I was trying to watch. Red Zone, so if nobody knows the drive from Youngstown to Columbus, it's roughly 3 hours. For an hour and change, I had to watch the New York Jets and the Titans play the end of their fourth quarter and into overtime. Yep. Horrendous football. Horrendous.
A terrible job by CBS, too.
Terrible. They just left it.
CBS left it through the whole first quarter of the Steelers game. They left a Jets-Titans game on it's Pittsburgh and Green Bay. And they left the Jets-Titans game on.
If I have to grade Red Zone this year, it's an F.
Oh, easily an F. It's horrible.
I look forward every year to watching Red Zone, and I have been more disappointed in Red Zone than I have the Pittsburgh Steelers.
So I was gonna do this later. We'll just do it now. We'll interrupt our picks. So I'm actually gonna watch Andrew this weekend though. So
because he'll be back on there at TV.
Yeah, so I'll be watching Andrew.
Damn, that's awesome.
So I'll let you know that. Like maybe Andrew's lost it too though. So I don't know.
I don't know. Andrew still got it on Twitter. I think he's probably still got his fastball.
Or like Hanson's so bad. Like I'm gonna be
I think he's just that bad.
We might just be buying a satellite here, just for the Red Zone to not watch Hanson.
I was so pissed. I was furious.
It's atrocious. And the late switches and all that. I can't stand it. He drives me insane.
Terrible.
You see me? I scream at him every single week.
You're yelling at Scott. You're probably yelling at Scott more than your bets. You're like, why are we watching this? The one game went to commercial.
I know.
There were 6 games going on.
I know.
It went to commercial.
He's terrible. He's
terrible.
He's a disgrace to the Red Zone, really. Hashtag fire Hanson.
I had to get that off my chest
that's great. I'm glad you did.
It was abominable. I was so pissed. I was texting you. Nobody listened to this because I was watching TV and texting as I was driving back from Youngstown to Columbus. But I was texting you, this is bullshit. I can't watch the game because they're playing Jets-Titans on here.
As long as you wore a mask, it's fine.
Well, Fauci would thank me for my service. All right, back to the picks. Let's travel to Cincinnati. We got Packers-Bengals. We got Packers -3.
All right, I saw nothing out of Pittsburgh last week that would have jumped out. I won a bet against Green Bay last week, and so I did it with Pittsburgh. I'm like, all right, this is the spot. Green Bay, they beat San Francisco in that wild game. The Niners really aren't even that good, as we're coming to find out here.
Right.
It's Green Bay is to be had. So to me here, it's Bengals got 10 days. I'm a little worried with the Mixon injury. I don't think he's going to play.
Doesn't look like it.
I don't think that really matters that much. I think this Green Bay defense is that bad. They're signing. They might sign Jalen Smith off, as he just got cut there. They really don't have anything in that front seven.
No. They can't stop the run. It's just the Steelers suck that bad.
If the Bengals can just protect at all, Burrow can eat them up. Chase is going to be a big problem for them to cover, especially and Higgins as well. So I just don't see it. I think Green Bay will score in the game. The Bengals defense has been playing pretty well so far.
Right. So, I agree with you. And I think the big thing that my takeaway was the Steelers receivers were running open. The Bengals receivers are just as good. It's just Ben couldn't deliver the football. I think Burrow will be able to deliver the football. I think their offensive line will be able to protect him well enough because that Packers defensive line is not very good. They looked good relative to who they were playing, i.e. the Pittsburgh Steelers, but they are not that good. We've seen them for several weeks not be good.
So, somebody's going to light them up eventually. I think this might be the time. And I love the over in this game, too. It's over under 51. I think this is an absolute homer. This is going to be the first over that I'm actually want to make a pick. Right. Because I love the over. I think the over in this game is a home run.
I like that.
So,
all right, let's travel to Minnesota. We got Lions-Vikings. We got Vikings -9.
We can't bet the Vikings -9, so we're going to have to bet the Lions.
The Vikings, to me, in that game against the Browns, and we'll do our breakdown a little bit later here in the pod, but the way they played against the Browns and how inefficient that offense was and just how bad Kirk looked. The Lions are a frisky team. They're a very bad team. But you can't lay 9 with that Vikings team. The way that they looked last week, and again, it's a week-by-week league, but that team, that offense was horrendous last week. And especially if you have Cook. Now, Madison's just as good. We missed on that pick, obviously, but I don't see how you can lay 9 here.
See, then you got me thinking, though, because I forgot the Lions really can't stop the run, and Minnesota is a team that
they love doing
can just eat you up. But I still it's just too high. So let's just we're leaning.
It wasn't like we
Yeah.
were making that a pick, but
Yeah.
I would still lean Lions.
Yeah, we're leaning Lions.
All right, let's travel to Tampa. We got Dolphins, Bucks. We got Bucks -10.
I'm not excited for this one at all.
Not at all. Is it Jacoby again?
Probably. It's like I just. It's interesting from this perspective. Is like I have no respect for the Tampa Bay pass defense right now, like zero. So it's hard to say. Okay, fine. Like I'm gonna, lay 10 with Tampa when I don't think they can really stop teams right now. So
right. I agree with you. I think what the Patriots were able to do that second half of that game. They also were playing in the monsoon, but they were able to move the football. They put themselves in a position to win that football game.
If the Patriots had my game plan, they would have beaten.
What not stacking or not running a I formation, running Damian Harris right into the defensive line.
I was just screaming, "Go shotgun!" the entire game. They go shotgun second half, and Mac Jones just eats them alive.
I mean, literally lit them up.
But the problem with Miami, Brissett really can't go shotgun. Not that Tua could either. So it's just like Miami the offense just isn't there. I hope they get Watson at some point. That seems to be the plan, but this just isn't. This isn't going to work. Their offense isn't going to work. So let's just lean. I'm going to lean under, and I'll lean towards the Dolphins, but I don't love it at all.
Right. No, I agree with you there. Let's travel to Washington. We got Saints football team. We got Saints -2.
And Saints, atrocious loss losing the Giants. I mean, Danny Dimes did play well. He had a bunch of nice throws in that game, but I got to still go Saints here. I've seen nothing out of Washington. Out of Washington, to me, I understand we picked them. That was one of our few winners last week. But
I mean, that was a very fortunate win.
And I expected their defense to just be so much better than it was, and it just wasn't.
They haven't shown up. Their defense hasn't played up to the expectation of what we thought they would be, especially their front seven. The Falcons moved the ball pretty easy against them, which, the Falcons' offense has been basically have not been able to do anything this year so far. So the fact that that Washington team was not able to slow them down, and it took that fourth quarter comeback basically to set themselves up for that win, basically on that Hail Mary play. So,
Then again, I look at the Saints and I say, okay, their offense sucks. It's not good. And if Washington can stop anybody, it's going to be this team, and it's going to be like a 50-50 game. Washington's at home. I don't know. I'm not excited about this one again. The more I think about it, I just don't want to lay points with Jameis. I think that was my role, and I think no matter what,
take Jameis as a favorite.
Yeah, I think we have to go because that's what I said last week. I was like, I like the Giants because I'm not laying that with Jameis. And once again, even the short number on the road, I just hate laying anything with Jameis. So you might as well I'm flipping. We talked about we said Saints. I think I like Washington.
We're flipping Washington now.
Or you can go. You can go head to head. I think I'm going Washington.
I think I'm going to stay with the Saints. I think offensively the Saints have sucked. I think it's been bad. Like you said, the Jameis as a favorite. But to me, I've seen nothing from this Washington team that makes me believe that they could win this football game. So let's travel to Carolina. We got Eagles, Panthers. We got Panthers -3.5.
It just seems so low. It almost seems like a trap to me. But
it does. It's like it's the trap game of the weekend.
It feels like such a trap because it makes so much sense for the Panthers to win this game. They, to me, are the Eagles. They played fine. Once again, they play Kansas City and Dallas, which are two brutal teams to play offensively. So maybe their defense can play a little bit better here against Carolina. But I still like Carolina's offense a little bit, and I think it's decent.
Right.
So I don't really want to lay 3.5 with Carolina, but I feel like that's my lane is Carolina.
Yeah, same thing. I mean, everybody knows I hate Philly. I don't think they're a very good football team. So to me, Carolina's I would at home. That defense is playing pretty well. I don't trust Jalen Hurts. I just think that this Carolina defense is good enough to slow him down. Again, he's not very good. So yeah, I would lay the 3.5 here. I'd lean Carolina.
These 1 o'clock games suck.
Terrible. Well, we're not done yet. Let's travel to Jacksonville, the Fighting Myers. We're going to go Titans, Jags. Tennessee's going to grind out at -4.5. I
mean, it's hard to think Jacksonville's really going to if like with the urban stuff going on, like if that wasn't
hilarious, by the way.
Yeah, if that wasn't happening, I think I kind of like Jacksonville. But with all that going on, I don't know if I can really say that like I can take the Jags. I don't know.
I just gotta say this real quick. The fact that he wore an Ohio State quarter zip at his own bar in 2021, not thinking that there would be any sort of videotaping or pictures or it's just
that's vintage urban.
It's truly unbelievable. And the fact, what I think is even funnier too, is apologizing to his players. Like, could you imagine me and you sitting in like in like a in the conference room, Urban's being like, "Hey guys, like, sorry, this girl grinded up on me at the bar." We're like, "Okay." They said the anonymous source said they started laughing at him. I mean, I would too.
It's unbelievable.
I mean, real quick before we transfer, and everybody knows my stance. I hate Urban. I was part of the transition from Tressel to him. He was one of the biggest assholes I think I've ever met. So the arrogance, the ego, no shocker that this, is still continuing to happen with Urban. And the fact, also too, people don't realize how big of an asshole he is. In his apology, he says, "I even warned Trevor Lawrence about his bachelor party in Vegas." Trevor Lawrence has nothing to do with you apologizing about some girl grinding up on your dick at your own bar. Like, he's just such an unself-aware asshole, he doesn't even realize how big of an asshole he is.
I don't have anything to add. Other than I think I still like the Jags.
I think really, too, with how bad Tennessee's... Well, again, because we had to watch that fucking game against the Jets. Their defense is horrendous. Horrendous. Zach Wilson, now he missed some throws, but he was able to throw over the top very easy against their defense, their secondary.
I still think the Jags have some potential on offense. Like, I really do think like they...
As long as Trevor Lawrence doesn't go to Vegas, he'll be fine.
I like Robinson. I like their wide receivers. I think Lawrence played much better against Cincy Thursday night, which was even shocking off the short rest. But then, Cincy kind of figured it out as the game went on. But
right.
It was still pretty good. I was still impressive. And like against Tennessee, I think you can do the same thing with the read options. I like their wide receiver matchup against Tennessee's corners. It makes sense. But then you look at it and it's like, well... We got jackass grinding on women in Dublin. So it's like, I don't know if I can really take the Jags, but I'll lean Jags.
All right. Well, what if this is like a rally for Urban game? Like, how like there's controversy like during the week. Like we're gonna
win this one for Urban.
We're gonna grind this one out for Urban.
They put decals on their helmets.
Speaking of another thriller here, let's travel to Houston. We got Pats Texans. We got Pats -9.
Like
just one of those shitty games.
The 1 o'clock games are so bad. You just go golf. You should just go golf.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna.
No matter what, like if the Steelers win, you'll just be like, if they lose, you'll be dead. Like you might as well just go.
Well, I said I can wake up real quick before I leave, watch the London game, and then head on.
Perfect. Yeah. Perfect.
I mean, what another horrendous game!
What a treat that will be. You'll wake up at 9:30 and to Matt Ryan kicking field goals in the red zone. That'll be fun.
God, that Falcons team's so bad.
So, where were we at?
Pats Texans.
Who cares? Again,
Pats -9.
The over-under is 39.5. That's almost like the more astonishing number. Pats -9.5, over-under 39.5. It's insane. I guess just by principle, I'll take Houston plus 9.5 and
I think you have to.
And under 39.5.
The problem is Mills is so bad. I don't know if he's going to score at all.
I don't know if he will either. I just think they'll get one touchdown and then for Mac Jones to score 17, they're not going to unleash him like they should. And one thing I got to say about New England, unleash Mac Jones. Like
#unleash Mac.
I know Collinsworth took it too far. I'm not trying to follow Collinsworth's point on Sunday night because he lost his mind.
I mean, it was unbelievable.
He lost his mind with Mac Jones. he's somewhere in between what Collinsworth is saying and like the quarterback we've seen the first 4 weeks.
Yeah.
But like let him go a little bit more. Like he's much better than like the double tight end stuff with New England. Like it's time for that to go.
Right.
Like they shouldn't be doing that anymore. Mac Jones is fine. Let him throw the ball a little bit. So they won't in this game though, and that's why I think under, and this is going to be like, hey, just hand the ball off, we'll score eventually. Davis Mills will give us the ball, we'll win. So that's what the game's going to be.
Yep. All right, let's travel to Vegas. Now we're in the 4 o'clock slate, 4:05 game. Bears, Raiders. We got Raiders -5.5.
Like slightly more interesting. I don't know. I mean, the Bears lose Montgomery. That doesn't really help them, but I'm still going to lean towards the Bears here. I don't want to lay 5.5 with the Raiders. I'm still not 100% sold that they're even going to make the playoffs. I know you're just, I guess one game, everyone's like, it's one game against the Chargers. The Chargers are really good, which is all true, but I'm just not, and this is that Miami team took them to the wire. Like, I don't know.
Right.
Now you look at the Pittsburgh win week 2, looked great. It doesn't look as strong now. So,
no, I would agree with that.
So I think that the Raiders to me are a little overrated. I think the Bears are properly rated, but that's not good. But give me the Bears.
I got to speak to Matt Nagy real quick. What an absolute just idiot head coach. For 1 minute, he's promising Andy Dalton's going to be the starter as long as he's healthy. Within the next few days, he goes, Justin Fields is the starter from the here out future.
Don't promise Andy Dalton anything as the first thing. Like, it's just...
Well, that's what he said. He said at the beginning of the year. He said, I promised him.
It's outrageous. It is a disgrace.
The Bears. If I'm a Bears fan, I cannot wait for the day that guy gets fired. Like he needs to be out of here for get out of here for Justin Fields' development.
And the crazy thing to me is like, hey, I think the Bears could be 3-2. Like I really think they could win this game.
I think they can too. I don't think the Raiders are that good. I think their defense is definitely playing better. They definitely lost to a very good Chargers team, a Chargers team that I really like now at this point. But I think the Bears, at least from what we saw against the Lions, where their offense was clicking with Fields, rolling him out more, moving, the stuff that he was kind of doing at Ohio State, they can do that against this Raiders offense. Now, the only thing I'm scared about is that Bears offensive line sucks, and the Raiders defensive line is pretty good. So that's one thing that's concerning to me. And you had mentioned with the running game. So that's where I'm like, I don't know. I would still say 5.5 is way too much for that Vegas team. That's why I would lean Bears. Let's travel to Los Angeles. Speaking of the Chargers, we got Browns-Chargers. We got Chargers -1.5.
So we went against the Browns last week. I still stand by the pick. It was unbelievable how bad Minnesota was. And give credit to Cleveland, and we'll talk to Jim in a few minutes here to give his full breakdown. So I don't want to get
that'll be electric.
Too far into it. But let's just say I think we're going to differ on the picks on this one. We'll skip this and we'll wait for Manager Jim.
Okay. Let's travel to Dallas. We got Giants, Cowboys, NFC Beast rivalry. Dallas -7.
This game's tough because this is going to sound crazy. Like I kind of think the Giants have some potential as like a team to bet. Like going like right here. Like,
yeah, they're a frisky team.
I think that I thought they were much worse than this though. Like I was wrong on them. Like they're a little bit better than I thought. The one thing I don't trust with the Giants still is their coaching. And now you got Garrett coming back to Dallas. This is the game where Dallas lost Dak last year playing the Giants. Mm-hmm. I just feel like Dallas is just on a roll. I just want to continue to bet Dallas. I know it's the square pick again. We said it's square last week. We said Dallas and over. I want to go Dallas and over again.
I completely agree.
I feel like they can control the game with their offensive line. Dak's really good. He'll make plays, and they'll win again.
The Giants aren't going to be able to cover those receivers. Dallas is going to be able to move the football pretty easily against. So the way that I look at it is, from what I've seen from this Giants defense so far this season, who's going to cover those 3 receivers? Dak's going to have time to throw the ball, too. Yeah. And they're going to be able to run the football.
Right.
The Giants' offense is getting better, but that Dallas defense is getting better, too.
Yeah.
Dallas, I feel like, is going to be – they're as much as I hate Dallas, they're becoming a more complete team, especially with their defense playing better, which was their weak link last year.
Right.
So they're going to be a team, unfortunately, that's going to be up in the rise, I feel like, especially with Dak healthy and the offense being as good as it is. Let's travel to Arizona. We got Niners, Cardinals. We got Cardinals. I got -5.5.
So this is such a tough game. Like for me especially, this is a very difficult game to pick because you look at this game, and like the Cardinals to me, like I'm they're like my team. I love betting them. Now I feel like right now is like they're overvalued. Like now we're getting crazy.
Right.
But then I look at the Niners and I say, okay, like who are we gonna run the ball with? I don't know. Like if they get Elijah Mitchell back, that will help because like I don't know what's wrong with Trey Sermon. Apparently he just can't run the ball. So like he's bad.
Very bad.
Because like when they had Mitchell and they had other guys, they were able to run the ball. And then as soon as everybody got injured and it was Sermon, it was like they can't run the ball now.
He's still listed as questionable. I didn't see anything else new besides that, so I don't know if he's going to play or not.
So I mean, the Niners are like, I mean, if I'm the Niners, like, do you call Adrian Peterson? Like, I would look into that. Like, they clearly need somebody. Like, it's not working with what they're doing. Now, do I think that Shanahan has he announced a starting quarterback yet?
No.
I would think that he's gonna start Trey Lance this game and come up with some kind of new offense. I would imagine, but maybe it's still Jimmy G. Like, and maybe the Niners just like we're beat up and we don't know what to do right. Like, I don't know how this happens every year. This game to me is just confusing. I think Arizona's overvalued. I'll lean towards the Niners, but I'm not very confident because I don't know what I'm gonna get.
Yeah, so I think from the uncertainty of the Niners with their injury situation and like what we saw last week, again. I do love Shanahan, obviously very good coach. Niners were our pick to win the Super Bowl this year. But in this case, I'm actually going to go the opposite way. I'm going to lay it with the Cardinals. They're just, to me, they're probably one of the more complete teams in football right now. They're absolutely rolling. I don't know what I'm going to get from the Niners, so I at least know what I'm going to get from the Cardinals. That's why I would lean them.
Makes sense.
Let's travel to Sunday night. We got Bills traveling to Kansas City. We got Chiefs -2.5.
So Jim already put out my pick, which is Kansas City -2.5. So
follow at Bros_NFL, not at NFL Bros.
So I'm going square again. I like Chiefs and I like over.
100%. Same. I just don't think. I think the Bills are one of those teams that are constantly getting overvalued. Yes, they put up a ton of points. It's all relative to who they've played so far. I think again the Bills are a good team. They're not going to be able to slow down the Chiefs' offense. The Chiefs' defense is still bad, but they're going to force Josh Allen to throw the ball more. We have seen how inconsistent he can be. That's why I like the Chiefs here.
Yeah, I think this is it. I can't believe that the Chiefs are you get the discount price at 2.5 on Sunday night at home. I don't believe it.
Right.
I understand their defense is terrible. They're giving up like 7.7 yards per play.
Right.
I don't care at all because this is all about the matchup. It's all about Mahomes against Josh Allen. Both teams are going to be passing the entire game. Who do you think is going to win, Kansas City or Buffalo? Give me Kansas City. Obviously, they're going to be passing the whole game. You got to go over. I don't care how high they make this total. Kansas City scoring in the 30s every single game, and they're, like I just said, 7.6 yards given up per play.
It's our rule. Kansas City and over.
Yeah. So
until it changes.
Kansas City
and over.
And always over.
Let's travel to Monday night. We got Colts going to Baltimore. We got Ravens -7.
I think that's a crazy line. I kind of like the Colts here. Like I think that line is it's a little high to me. Like the Ravens, they got a win last week against the Denver team. And once again, we'll explain after this pick what we're doing going forward because of what happened with Denver is they got injured. But like I think the Ravens that game, like it was obvious before the game. I know we picked Denver, but before the game, we were all texting about like how the Ravens are going to win this game. Like Denver's all banged up. So
right.
So, like, I don't really give them a lot of credit for that win. I think the Colts, they killed Miami. Miami sucks. But I still think the Colts are a little undervalued here. They're 1-3, but I kind of like them to bounce back a little bit. I think the Colts are the side here.
So, it was interesting you talked about the Cardinals being overvalued -5.5. That's actually what I thought of this Ravens line because of the Broncos game, which I think you can just throw that game out. That Broncos team was, basically dead on the field once Teddy went out. And half their offense was out. So that's why in this game where, like you said, I think the Ravens got this 7 number. I think that's too high in this game.
Yeah.
The Colts
defense is going to slow them down.
They'll be able to slow them down. I'm still, and again, that Colts offense, you don't know what you're going to get, and they're very inconsistent, and they're not very good. But I think they can at least do enough where 7 points to me still is just too much. I don't love it, but I would lean Colts here.
I think I love it. I think I'm going to bet a lot on the Colts.
We went from lean to love.
I think I love it. The more I think about this game, this is a Colts bet here. The first 4 weeks are not indicative of what the Colts or Ravens are going to be. I think that the Colts are going to be a little bit better, and I think the Ravens aren't really a 3-1 type team. They're banged up on defense still. and like I just think that Denver just couldn't do it. Like I think the Colts' run game has been a little bit better the past few weeks. They're going to give it to Taylor more. Like they have an identity. I feel like, and the Colts are the team here to play well at Baltimore. I think they could even win the game. So
Okay.
I'm going. I think this is gonna be. I'm seeing it. I'm going Colts here. I'll have Carson Wentz on Monday Night Football.
All right.
That'll
There
be
you
fun.
have it.
Going against Lamar.
That's week 5 in the books there.
Yeah, so we're not going to do picks now. So we're going to decide our picks on Friday because
correct.
of injuries that have been happening. So those are our leans. That's where we're leaning right now.
Well, we were talking too, and if anybody that knows football, like a lot of these injuries that we're talking about, we're not sure who's the starting quarterback. That's a huge, huge thing, obviously, in the game. So a lot of teams aren't announcing who they're playing until Friday or Saturday.
Right.
Especially any questionable players. They're not going to announce it on Wednesday before we're doing the pod. That's why we're always scrambling, trying to figure out, did they name a starter? Well, they're not going to name somebody usually on a Wednesday or Tuesday of the week.
I think that, and that's what killed us in the Denver. And then Teddy got hurt in the middle of the game. Obviously, that's not, nobody can predict stuff like that. But, like, I think the Denver game was a good, like, we saw that before the game. We're like, oh, no, like, we're screwed here. And we gave it out. So, like, we're just going to do it on Friday where we have a better indication of who's playing and who's out rather than Wednesday.
So at @bros_NFL.
Yes. So we will be having Mgr Jim, I think. So
oh wow.
Well,
what did he say?
We're technically we're so well timed. We finished our picks right at the number 9:45.
Look at that. Look at the schedule. Unbelievable. What he said he thought we would go over.
He said, yes, we need 3. He said he needs 3 minutes. So in 3 minutes, I'll be able to do my news segment.
That's what I was saying. It looked like the ending had a short news segment.
It's going to be short, yeah.
Okay,
so
let's hear it.
So I saw on Disney Plus that...
You just casually on Disney Plus?
Disney Plus had tweeted that...
you follow Disney Plus on Twitter?
No, it was like a promoted ad.
Oh.
That I don't pay the $5 for the real Twitter. The Twitter Pro. That's Read Money Magazine. Don't spend money. That's unnecessary. Can't teach. There's a life. So if I lose all these bets, then it doesn't matter. Just take that lesson with you. There's a $1 million lesson right there.
Right.
Anyways.
Thank you.
So on Disney Plus, they've decided, I think it was National Geographic who made the documentary. They decided they're going to make a documentary titled Fauci.
No way.
Oh, yeah.
Discovery Channel?
Yes. No, National Geographic.
Oh, my bad. Well, even so, National Geographic?
Yeah. So that they did that, and
Nat Geo usually does animals.
They put it on Disney Plus. I downloaded.
Are we going to review it?
Oh, I've already watched the entire thing.
You didn't tell me that. Are you going to do a review?
I was going to do a quick review.
Okay, go for it. Yeah, I don't know how I missed this.
I made some notes.
Okay, I'm sure these are going to be good.
So
we have to cut this too.
The whole documentary, all they try and do is just make everybody look bad that questioned anything during the pandemic, and they make it seem like Fauci is this God who thank God we have him.
Okay.
If we didn't have him, we wouldn't have made it through AIDS or COVID because they reference.
They threw AIDS.
They reference AIDS the entire. They act like Fauci literally cured AIDS by himself.
I thought magic cured AIDS.
Well, money is the thing that really cured it.
Yeah, I wasn't saying Magic Johnson was in a lab. It's just he had it, so then he paid a bunch of money to figure it out.
That's what I'm saying, yeah, exactly, because Magic had money, so that's why he was able to figure it out.
Yeah.
So that's, I think that, they just tried to, they act like he was this hero. They tell a story about, how, he was, this ladies' man, early in his life.
What?
Yeah.
Did they talk about him in organized crime?
No, but he said you had to be tough in Brooklyn. I was like, yeah, I'm sure you were. I'm sure you knew the right people.
Of course, he was an Italian in Brooklyn. Yeah. He definitely knew the right people.
Probably leave that little guy alone. He's going to be a doctor someday.
What Soprano character would he be? Would it be Christopher?
He wouldn't be a Soprano character. He would be. He'd be somebody that was a bookie that was
Anthony Fauci Soprano.
Yeah, he didn't kick up the right amount of money and they smashed his head in. But that's what they did in Brooklyn Pride. They were probably like, "Oh, leave him alone. He'll be a doctor someday, and then he'll be putting everybody in our houses for a year." Recommending that. They didn't mention that either. They had no mention of like anything like They just said everything was courageous and heroic. So it was very interesting to watch Disney do this, which not a big surprise, but like really like we've been critical of Fauci, obviously.
Oh, really?
But like why is it necessary to go the other way and hail him as this? Like it was just so strange. That was like the more thing that I thought was just such a strange thing to do. Like,
well, because my question is, why is Nat Geo putting out a documentary about Fauci?
There's not many heroes left. It's certainly not him. So like I mean, what are we doing? Like it was so crazy to me. Like it's just so crazy.
Yeah, I mean, just using hero and Fauci in the same sentence is just
it's absurd.
I just can't believe he got like his own 30 for 30.
He had like this whole interview during it, like the whole time.
Oh, I'm sure he loved that.
Oh,
yeah.
I loved it. Right. Is this so strange? Isn't that so? That's
no.
I mean, we already know. Like, I don't need to prove my point and get all mad again. Like, it's just like we know that. Like,
I'm just baffled that Nat Geo even did a documentary.
It's just wild. It's just like I feel like they just like continue to just like we're gonna shove this in your face. There's nothing you can do about it. It's like that's
like how like Disney Plus. That's hilarious. You didn't tell me that at all, so I had no idea you watched a Fauci documentary.
Yes, I watched the documentary simply titled Fauci.
Am I getting confused? Isn't Nat Geo the channel that usually did like animals and travel and stuff like that?
Now they're coming up with Fauci docs.
30 for 30 Fauci docs. What if I told you one man kept you in a house for over a year?
They did mention the one thing. I have to be fair. They did mention where he said you don't have to wear a mask, and he explained that at the beginning they didn't understand that asymptomatic cases were spreading the virus, which I still think hasn't even been proved yet. But he acted like as that was fact, and then so he said the asymptomatic cases were the main factor, so everybody should be wearing a mask. But so he changed the story from where the masks were short. That's what he said originally.
So in everything that he has done, he's always erred on the side of caution. Why don't you just have him wearing a mask anyway, regardless of that?
Well, because his original answer was we didn't have enough masks, and then he changed.
No, I know, but it doesn't make sense either way, though.
Yeah, because we know that.
Because if you're going to change your answer, then it would just be what I rebutted with that.
Yeah, I once again,
because if you didn't have enough masks, then the argument is why wouldn't you wear the mask anyway? He's
science. That's what he told you.
Well, what was the sign that we saw in the neighborhood? Fauci is science.
Yeah, Fauci is science.
The kids are studying Fauci now. Oh, he's got his own documentaries. He got his own 30 for 30.
It's so wild. Like it's actually was similar. Here's the best way to describe it. If you don't want to watch documentary, just watch the Dwayne Wade documentary that he did of himself. It's the same. It's the same thing.
Oh, is that kind of the same?
There's no difference. The same style.
So let's give the listeners a little bit of a background on this. So during the pandemic, when we were at our worst, we watched the Dwayne Wade documentary. It was a self-documentary where he basically went through his career and then at the end talked about how he cheated on Gabrielle Union, has a kid that he doesn't mention, and then pretty much talked about how he raps now.
He did, so like pretty much how you described like the kid part, that's how much they talked about it in the documentary. It was said for like 60 seconds.
I mean, if you want to watch one of the worst basketball documentaries, what was it? I think it was just called Wade, wasn't it, or something like that? It premiered during the pandemic.
Yeah.
It was like early in the pandemic.
Wait, yeah, I don't remember what it was called. And then Dwayne Wade raps at the end too.
And one of the worst raps of all time. People used to rip like Shaq for rapping. I think Shaq sounded way better than Dwayne Wade did.
Yeah, I thought it was just all around bad. The whole thing was bad. Everything was bad. Same thing with the Fauci doc. Like to wrap
did Fauci rap at the end?
Fauci did not rap at the end.
That's a bummer.
Instead, he probably just said like, "Can you believe how much I've done in my career?" That's pretty much all. The whole thing was just like, look at how much I've done in my career. I'm a hero. Could you imagine that? Like, I mean, like that's I never understand that. And I'll be fair because everyone thinks like I'm some MAGA. Trump does the same shit too. Like, but I can never imagine being like, like look at what I've done. Like, I just think that like I'm just some idiot that just like roams the earth like everybody else does.
Everybody's
like it doesn't really matter. Like. You're he's just such a jackass. Like stands up there like this is my career, and like to be fair, like Trump, like all of those people do it. Everybody does it. Like
it's the ego. Public, it's right?
And it's so.
Jim, nice for you to be on time.
Hey, I'm just happy you guys picked up. I thought you'd be deep in some conversation.
Actually, ironically enough, we were.
We were.
I'm sorry. I'm
No,
sorry.
No, it was perfect. Actually, you called it the perfect time. Like, we literally just finished it. We reviewed the documentary titled Fauci.
Oh, I cannot wait to listen back to that.
I didn't even know there was a documentary. He just told me live on the pod. I had no idea.
Come on, man. PR. Corona's dying down. We gotta make sure, Fauci gets his limelight.
Yes.
He had a 30 for 30 done on Nat Geo.
Yep. Wild.
I mean, could we be any more blatant? Like, do people not? We're not going to get into this.
I think Jim's coming off a few drinks. Am I correct?
It's possible.
Okay.
What were the drinks of choice tonight?
I was drinking bourbon mules.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, it was like a burnt orange bourbon mule, and it was going down pretty smooth.
Yeah, we'll stay away from the COVID vax talk then.
Let's get into it. Let's get into it. I got a event in San Francisco that I can't go to for my company because I'm not vaxxed, and I work with some younger people, and they're like, "Are you not worried about this?" I'm like, "Fuck no! I get to be with my family for 4 days." They're like, "Oh, you're my idol." I'm like, "Hey, it's not. It's like you have principles. As you get older, you develop more principles." It's like, listen, this is what I'm sticking to. Okay.
Where'd you guys
go? If you don't like it.
Where'd you guys go to eat?
Acapulco.
Oh wow!
I've never been there.
It's good,
dude. You gotta go, Howie. It's some of the best food in Youngstown, I'd say.
Wow.
Oh,
damn.
So, can we get him to be a sponsor?
I mean, we go there enough. I could try.
All right.
There it is. Put it on the map.
All right, we're gonna just promote them right now before they're a sponsor. So a quick sponsor. Go to Aquapazzo, great restaurant.
What'd you get? What food?
So.
Oh boy.
I didn't feel like getting a big meal, so I just got one of their salads with steaks on it. And I'm a little upset because usually I go there and I just pig out, and every single thing on that menu is delicious. The atmosphere is great. Go to Acapulco. Tuesday night, pasta night.
They have cavatelles?
Go, free plug. You know what? They do not have cavatelles.
Fuck. Well.
But they have a lot of other traditional
guy,
Italian pasta dishes, and everything on that menu is phenomenal. But tonight I just went with a salad with some steak. I was not feeling like a big meal. I didn't want to be... just didn't want to feel that way after.
Yeah, we got a big game Sunday, so gotta stay light.
This is very true. This is true.
Jim, congrats on another win.
Thank you. Feels good again.
What would you grade that win? A 4 or 5?
Yeah. What was the look of this one?
Can I divvy up? Like offense and defense.
Yeah.
Like offense might have been like a 2. Offense was a pretty high. It would be like in an 8 or 9 range. Let's call it 8-3.
Okay.
Wow.
Damn.
I mean, I don't think I've ever, to my knowledge, to what I remember seeing a defensive game, from the Browns where the offense just can't get anything really going and the Browns actually being able to hold the other offense off. I mean, the Vikings, they have a lot of weapons. They can throw a lot at you. But I think the Browns got even, they keep getting creative with different alignments and different packages that it's been kind of fun to watch. And I know, COVID for life listener always rags on Grant Delpit and his health, but for what he's playing right now, he's playing pretty damn well. And same with JOK. I mean, you can't ask any more from those guys. So the defense seems to be clicking. I would like to get a little more, healthy on that side of things, but jeez.
Well, at least Baker looked good.
What's that?
I said at least Baker looked good.
Yeah, I was pretty pissed off until I saw Justin Herbert missed a couple good throws last night, and I was like, okay, everyone has bad games, but again, it's just you want to see him turn that corner and prove to you yeah, you're that guy, but it doesn't work, and it just I don't know if it's an Odell thing. I mean, when he's on the field, it's obvious there's pressure to get him the ball, whether Baker thinks there is or says there is or not. It's just obvious. And I think it's just that light that shines on him is oh, well, if I miss him, I got to hit him here. It's just a force, and it's just instead of working the system, because Baker's a system quarterback, he's trying to do more and get the ball to Odell. And you saw it late in the game, just needed a first down. Felton's wide open in the flat on the side that he is rolling to, and he takes a sack. And it's shit. It's clear as day. And I know Mark has his opinion on Odell, and I'm different. It's just I just want to see him make plays. I like having a big playmaker on the team, but it's if he's not there, Baker's running the system. It's obvious.
I just think that Odell is the biggest addition by subtraction guy possibly of all time. Once he goes away, the Browns offense I think will just click again and everything will move on forward. Just replace him with Landry. It's perfect. But
and there's evidence of that. And I think what needs to happen and what should happen and what you want to see happen is Odell go, hey, don't fucking worry about getting me the ball. Let's just win games. You want that to happen. Now, I don't know if that happens or not. But it doesn't seem like it's happening. But as a leader and somebody on that team, that's what you should be doing. Hey, don't worry about it. Let's just win this fucking game.
Yeah.
Right.
The same guy that's making trailers after every pregame is going to be the guy that's worried about the team. So
big wee guy, not a big me guy.
There you go.
We're going to try not to rehash all my takes with Fauci and Odell, but...
Wait, there's a link?
The listeners is this a repeat?
The OBJ 30 for 30 on Nat Geo.
Is this a rerun pod?
I'm here for the Fauci takes.
So yeah, I agree, but I think the Browns defense is a little worse than what they showed. I think the Browns offense is obviously better than what they showed. I think that there's a little bit. I think what I screwed up with last week in that game is thinking, okay, these two teams know each other so well, but the problem is they know each other so well on offense, so they were both able to just smother each other the entire game, and it just nothing.
That's a good.
Nothing.
Yeah, that's a good oversight.
And just nothing clicked for either team. So while the Browns are susceptible to play action, they are susceptible to passing the ball down the field. It just didn't work because it's I know everything.
Yeah, right. Yeah, where I'm just looking in the mirror,
and then
here.
Vice versa, and it just never really it seemed like both teams were just all over. Both defenses looked great. The Vikings defense isn't that good. And
they look fine.
They looked fine against the Browns, and I was surprised both ways, and I think that people are getting fooled. And I don't want to dive into this week, but I think there's going to be a lot more points than people are expecting in this Chargers-Browns game than they think.
Yeah, I would lean that way too. What is the actual number? What's the over under?
Look ahead was 51. Now it's 46.5. I think 46.5 is an adjustment from last week. That's way too low.
Whoa! Why did it drop so much?
I think just based off last week, and the Chargers also play a low-scoring game, 28-14 against the Raiders.
Yeah, but neither offenses could do it. That game was pathetic to watch for the first 2.5 quarters that I watched it.
Yeah, I kind of like the over.
I don't know. I mean, Baker is he's going to have to be decisive. Obviously with their rush, I don't know what's happened with Doughboy Wills. I'm kind of sick of seeing him hobble every week. It's let's just move on. I'm sorry. There's a point where it's just okay, are you healthy or not? If you're not healthy, just sit out so we can prepare the other person. Just do your team a favor, or I don't know. But Baker's gonna have to be decisive. That's the thing. I think if you get Baker into the system and he can kind of make his pre-snap reads and, be quick with it, it's going to be just fine. But if he's looking to continually force, he's going to have a rough day against that rush. So I'm not looking forward to it. But when am I ever looking forward to a Browns game? So,
well, I mean, the Browns can counter that, though. One thing I feel like you can do against the Chargers is run right at them. And the Raiders can't do that. The Chiefs can't do that, but the Browns can do that. So it's a different matchup for the Chargers, I feel like, versus the Browns versus the teams some of the teams they've played so far. The Dallas was able to run the ball right at them, and it worked very well.
That's a good point. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't Gruden start doing that, or did he try to start doing that and they just weren't effective with it?
He tried.
I
They tried
if there was a switch at halftime.
The Raiders they just didn't have it. Like, I don't think their offensive line, they haven't been able to run the ball most of the season. Really.
Well, Josh Jacobs was banged up, and then they were relying on Peyton Barber, who Tampa basically said we don't even need him anymore.
Yeah, which they don't.
Right.
Yeah, I'm excited, Mark. You're gonna be in Youngstown for this game, right?
I'll be with you. Yep.
This is gonna be fun. We should ask the audience if we should live stream it.
And to be honest, this is gonna be one of my picks for the week, and I think we're gonna go head to head here. I like the Browns.
Oh shit!
I took the Chargers.
Of course you did. I mean, I expect nothing less. Let me guess, you took the Steelers too. Still,
I did.
Yeah.
That Broncos team is so banged up. If this Steelers team, I already said if they lose this one, I'm just gonna golf during all the Steelers games. I don't even care anymore.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm surprised we still have listeners. I mean, maybe we don't, but I make a video that has Broncos pick 'em, and then 2 hours later, I see this tweet from Schefter that the whole Broncos team is injured, and they're pretty much playing. I was like, oh, we very, very credible here. We
Yeah,
look
we
like
really
idiots.
fucked up.
So we fixed that. We already addressed that.
Yeah, we made an announcement to the listeners about our picks.
Yeah. So we didn't make any picks.
Oh, okay.
It was a great job though, Jim. The graphics were pretty sweet.
We're just breaking through the status quo.
Yeah. Step by step.
Yeah, so put it on the mind map. It looked good. I thought it was great.
Thanks, guys.
Minus the
I almost got divorced over that, so I'm gonna have to be a little quicker on that video editing.
You'll get better. That's all she's doing. She's making you better. So that's good.
Which
iron
brings us, I
sharpens
guess, to our next topic is this criticism I'm anticipating.
Oh yeah. So Jim, as the listeners know, Jim was our former manager, and he would like us to be more organized and on time. So I've decided, since he's joined the pod, that I'm going to be more organized and be on time. So I've made times for the pod, and I've made notes to send to everybody in the group to say, all right, this is our agenda. This is what we're going to talk about. In the 3 weeks that we've done this now, Jim has been late. Jim has been changing topics. Jim has been ignoring topics.
Jim's going out to eat and drinking before his segment.
So
all fair criticism. Can
I have one more thing.
So
Just one more.
Are you ready for an analogy?
I had an analogy actually.
Okay.
Well.
Okay. All right.
It's topical too because it just happened. I would say you're saying this is the way it's going to be. This is how this is going to be. Kind of like what Urban Meyer did.
So I thought you were going that way.
Okay.
Former manager Urban.
We'll just leave it at Urban being hypocritical. I don't need to. Everyone knows. We already bashed Urban.
Yeah, I already went through my bashing Urban segment. So
that dude really just he just wants out. I think he just wants out. Do whatever he can to get the hell out.
Anything out of his marriage, out of the Jags.
I think he would have taken some 4s and 5s, Jim, at Pine House.
He just wanted that pressure off. Baby. Just get the pressure off. Get it off his back. So in all fairness, you're absolutely right. I'll own up to it. It was late. I forgot about the dinner reservation tonight. I got a surprise guest on. Let's bring some excitement to the pod at least. I think what's happening is, when maybe you were a kid and you drove your dad nuts. And he's like, boy, I can't wait till you're a fucking kid and they drive you nuts. We just reversed roles. Before the pod, I was trying to get you guys in order, and you guys are driving me fucking nuts. And now the tides have turned. You now have a kid. It's like you have a kid and you're living it.
It's true.
Yeah,
it's true. It's a good analogy. It's a clean analogy.
I was about to say I was expecting something else to happen with that analogy, but that makes a lot of sense.
Sorry to disappoint.
I was gonna say how is this gonna fall into Jim's usual analogies?
So where are you at this week? Are we Browns? The Browns are plus 2.5 right now.
Jesus, why do they keep getting points on the road? I mean, I just can't. I don't think I'm ever going to be able to bet. Oh, I'm sorry. The Browns are getting points.
Yeah, they're getting 2.5.
Oh,
they're going to Los Angeles.
Don't mind me.
Old booze brain here.
Yeah, I would take the Browns on that bet.
Oh wow! Now I'm nervous.
Bolt up, Chargers by 90. Let's go.
I would take the Browns on that bet. I hope fucking Mike Williams shows up this time because what the fuck did I trade him for?
Oh man. Are we going to go into the fantasy football segment? Yikes!
Yeah,
don't get me started.
I'm lonely at 4-0.
This is the worst. The last person you want to be 4-0 is one of the people talking on this podcast right now.
About
the last person you want to talk about. Here I am, just came off the championship year. I think I went undefeated for a given amount of time, 10-0 last year, the year before that. I don't think I said a word. Here's Marcus.
I heard he was going off in the group chats.
Oh yeah. Yep.
I mean, I have to hand it to him. He has a campaign that he is running, and he's running a pretty flawless campaign against a much weaker opponent. So, in his defense, he does have a mission, and I can respect that.
Yeah, and
it's for the greater good of the league.
Yes, that's true. It's for the greater good. And now
I will.
Go ahead.
I will take the brutal punishment for the greater good of the league.
Yeah. Now, just to highlight the Mike Williams thing, I had Mike Williams the first 3 weeks. He scored, I think, almost over 100 points in Bucks points. So they're a little bit different. And then
crazy points.
Yeah, and then I sent him to Jim right before the Week 4 game. He had one catch for 11 yards.
When I needed 11 points, I needed 11 points from him to beat Buck.
After he put up almost 100 total in 3 weeks.
Yeah. I needed 11 points.
That's devastating.
Yep. So, once again, that's just...
You hate to see it.
You hate to see it. Well, I hope I helped your campaign. No Russia collusion. It was just a simple trade.
Yeah, so the problem is that Buck won, but we won't get too far into fantasy. But so you're picking Browns, you're going Chargers.
Yep,
I'm going Browns.
Marcus, what's your reason for going Browns?
I think the Browns are going to be able to run kind of a similar game plan to Dallas, where the Browns will run the ball at them. I think the Chargers will load the box. It will come down to Baker making a few plays. I think he'll be able to play better. Obviously, I think we're just. I'm not high on Baker at all. I don't think Baker's the guy. I don't think Baker's gonna. But we're talking about one singular game here against the Chargers, where the Browns I think are going to run the ball effectively against them. I got to go Browns here, and I think that when you look at the Chargers, they're going to pass a lot in this game, and the Browns are going to be able to get to the quarterback. I just feel like the Browns' offense, I can trust their run game more than I can trust the Chargers' passing here, and I like the Browns. And there's no home field advantage really with the Chargers either. So I don't understand the 2.5. We really think the Chargers are 2.5. I understand the Browns have to travel, but 2.5 seems that just seems wrong. I'm definitely going to tease the Browns as well.
Yeah, that's not a bad move. It's been interesting because Chubb hasn't really been able to get going. Hunt has been doing a lot of the work. It's so I'm interested to see if Chubb can really get going in this game. And like you said, my bet is he will definitely be able to.
I think so as well. So, any other?
All right, NFL bros. Is there anything else we need to talk about?
I think that's about it.
No, that's it. I found out our Twitter handle was @bros_NFL. I thought it was still @NFL_bros, so that was my mistake.
Yeah, we reviewed how many Twitters have gotten banned.
Timeout. What?
What?
As the person that often visits that Twitter profile, how is it?
No. There's that Twitter profile is @bros_NFL.
Shit, that was in the video wrong. I mean, for all
See,
the
I
people
told
who watched
you.
it.
Because, Jim, it used to be just @NFL Bros. That was one of the Twitter accounts that Mark got banned off Twitter, so that's why then it went @bros_NFL.
Someone got banned off Twitter.
Who's Dave Yannick? Thank you for your support.
Oh, we got
It's hard to keep track of all these followers coming in, but Dave, thank you. Appreciate the support.
When you run a popular account like you do, it's tough work.
So yeah, we can't even. This will be
I
good.
don't run that account.
In 10 years, this will be good when we finally blow it up. We'll remember this conversation. We didn't even know our Twitter account.
I had no idea.
So
I had no idea until Mark told me.
Good Lord. Just do me a favor and don't get kicked off in a while so we can just keep the same handle.
Wait.
Could you do that for me?
Yeah, I can do that.
All right.
I don't have a Twitter right now.
I also want to just, pour one out for my dead homie, Hector.
R.I.P.
He was a big critic of the pod, and, I wish him the best without the Yankees in his life right now. I hope he finds another love that doesn't torment him.
I'm sure I'll pass the message along.
All right, guys.
All right.
Enjoy the rest of the pod. I look forward to listening tomorrow.
All right.
See you, Jim.
See ya.
Thanks for having me on. Later, guys.